My uprzejmie zapytujemy, kiedy pan minister opracuje normy zanieczyszczeń dla środowiska odnośnie zanieczyszczeń gazami.
Można wyciągnąć
Ustawa antydrogowa powstaje.
za 3 lata, tak jak pan
Ja powiedziałem, że tego mnie nie
Could you please tell us what are your concerns?
Pierwszy problem to jest koncentracja przemysłu szkodliwego dla środowiska, a więc przemysłowe fermy tuczu, zakłady utylizacyjne.
Ja chcę czyste powietrze, żeby nie śmierdziało, żeby moja wnusia żyła w czystym powietrzu, zdrowo, tak? Żeby mogła żyć naprawdę zgodnie z przyrodą.
I'm Tracy Worcester, and I've lived in the countryside most of my life. But whether it's in Britain or abroad, I've seen small family farms going bankrupt because of the arrival of giant factory farms. For years, I've campaigned against the destruction of rural livelihoods and to improve animal welfare. So these pigs have been foraging, getting rid of the bracken in a National Trust wood. This film is the story of my 4-year exploration into the global pig business. A journey which goes from the UK to the USA, from South America to Poland, to find out where the pork is produced, how it's produced, who wins and who loses. You'll be lucky to find any of this information on the label. Thick pork sausages. But you can look everywhere on the packet. There is no indication where it comes from. It's important to know where our meat comes from because not all countries have the same animal welfare standards. And the UK has some of the highest in Europe. What we're looking for is a man who sells pigs. If you go to your local farmer's market, you can be confident of the origin of your meat.
They know the quality of the product because we have a direct relationship with our customers. If they don't like what we sell them, they'll come back next week and tell us.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's marvelous. You should care.
For stallholder Mike King, the secret of producing top-quality pork lies in the humane treatment of his animals.
I think pigs, they're such intelligent, sort of inquisitive animals. They need to be active all day long, searching for roots and grubs and things like that. Whereas pigs in concrete boxes, they've got nothing to do all day long. They're totally bored. It's one of the reasons why I left that more intensive farming and decided to keep them like this.
The intensive farming Mike referred to was pioneered in America, and it's the way most supermarket pork is produced. Early in my inquiry, I met up with veteran animal welfare campaigner Tom Garrett, who's opposed intensive livestock production ever since it began.
What we have, I think, is the application of industrial systems that were designed to build cars and build machines to living creatures.
It's infinitely cruel in my mind, and no civilized society, whatever civilized society means, ought to countenance it. Sows, for example, are subjected to confinement in a very narrow cage, so narrow they can't even turn around during gestation.
Workers in these installations cease to regard the animals even as alive, I think. They become habituated to cruelty, and eventually they become genuinely brutalized.
I believe such cruelty happens when pigs are seen not as animals, but as an industrial raw material. But the more I've looked into industrial farming, the more I've come to believe that it's bad for our food, our health, and the livelihoods of rural communities. America's industrial pig farmers copied the chicken industry by cramming thousands of animals into a confined space. There are sometimes as many as 10,000 pigs in buildings like this, their waste dropping through a slatted floor. One of the workers I met told me what it was like working there.
Y trabaja uno 12 días y descansa 2. Pues lo que me ha afectado son los ojos y luego pues a veces quiere dar vómito. Eso es todo lo que a mí me ha pasado, no más.
Over the years, scientists have studied the effect of working in these installations and have found again and again that they can damage workers' health. One man who studied the scientific literature is Dr. David Wallinger.
The risks that have been most studied are definitely the risk to people working inside the facility. And there is an extensive amount of science that really goes into some detail about how a pretty large percentage of the people working in these facilities, whether it's hogs or chickens, will come down with chronic sinus infections, asthma, bronchitis, and other respiratory diseases that are related to this mixture that they're breathing in.
The problems with pig waste are not confined to those working in the farms. I met Rick Dove, former lawyer and Army colonel turned fisherman, who campaigns for clean water in North Carolina, where there are hundreds of factory pig farms.
It's the way they get rid of their waste that's really most problematic. The hogs dump their feces and urine on the floor. It goes under the hog house out to a lagoon. I mean, there's no beautiful women in bathing suits by any of these lagoons. But it goes out to the lagoon and then they slop it on the fields. There are 10 million hogs in this small area, and see, those 10 million hogs are producing more fecal waste each and every day than 100 million people.
The first thing to realize when you're talking about the gases that come out of a big confined swine operation is that it's really a toxic brew, that there's so many volatile gases mixed in with dust, bacteria, and antibiotics, and they're all mixed together in a very, very complex mixture of some 300 or even 400 different substances. So that's what one is exposing a neighbor or a family or a child to.
During my research, I visited people who live near giant pig farms. And where do they spray?
Out there, right across in front of the highway. They came out and tested my water, and in a couple of days, I got a letter telling me not to drink my water, don't bath in my water, don't cook with it. And there's flies on the side of the house, all around the doors, all around the windows, great big greasy-looking flies. I have been to the allergy clinic for my allergies from this, trying to breathe. And it makes my eyes run, it makes my eyes puffy, it makes my nose run, it makes my throat sore.
When it's spraying, it just cuts your breath off. And you get like phlegm in your throat, your eyes start running, you know, and you just get a headache, you know, and you just really almost, I guess, just get angry because you can't breathe.
In 2003, when the US government introduced new controls on spraying pig waste, it was estimated that 80% of the farms in the USA at the time were in breach of the new regulations. And in 2004, a scientific study found that many older lagoons in North Carolina were leaking waste and contaminating the water table. Throughout the 1990s, small farmers in America campaigned against the growth of big farms.
Food has become a major profit-generating commodity and has spread onto a global playing field where food producers, workers, and consumers are reduced to pawns, manipulated by giant corporations.